Okay, so I want to say a good, pleasant good morning to everyone and welcome. My name is Saddiya Rose. I'm a professor and employment advisor here at Humber College, where I teach a career development course and provide employment support for students in the .NET developer and engineering bridging programs. So I've worked in corporate recruitment, training, and administration for over 7 years. So today we'll be discussing strategies that you can use and you can include to optimize your job search and how to effectively use the LinkedIn platform to support your search. And I really hope that the previous session was meaningful to you and that you'll also get some strong and some good value from this session that I'll be delivering today. Okay, so I want to acknowledge our producer here today. She's working hard in the background, and she's doing a lot of our back end work. And her name is Julie. Julie is a student support advisor at Humber College. And she's co-facilitating the session today. So throughout the session, I will be sharing questions that you may have, and I encourage you to use. Actually, Julie will be sharing questions. Sorry. So we're going to ask you to use the Q&A box. It's located to the right-hand side of the screen to ask any questions that you might have. And Julie again will be sharing your questions throughout the session. Okay, so what are we covering today? So for today's session, we'll be looking at the building blocks involved in creating an effective LinkedIn profile. So we're going to look at profile enhancers, we're going to look at building and leveraging your connections, and we're also going to explore other effective job search techniques, and I'll be sharing some upcoming events and ways that you can keep your skills active during this period. Okay, and again, we'll have a chance throughout the session for Q&A, but feel free as I go through to post any questions that you might have throughout the session. All right, so to start us off, I wanted to get a little bit of an idea of where you are in terms of your profile strength. So on LinkedIn, there's a section under your profile where you can see your kind of profile meter. Are you at the basic level? Are you at an intermediate level? Are you advanced? Would you say you're an expert, or are you all-star? So what I'd like you to do before we get into the presentation, I want to get an idea of where you are. So put in the Q&A box to the right side of your screen what your profile strength is. So what's your level, right? And again, if you ever wanted to check, it's you'd have to click your photo in LinkedIn. And then when you go to your profile, right in your dashboard to the right-hand side, you will see your profile strength. So Julie is going to let us know. So feel free, write in the Q&A what your profile strengths are. And then Julie's going to tell us what she's seeing. Anything coming up, Julie?
So I'm not seeing anything yet. Okay, someone just wrote intermediate.
Good.
Still waiting on some responses.
Mm-hmm. So I want the session to be as interactive as possible. I know we are on Teams. We're obviously distant, but I want to try and ensure that we have a little bit of interaction during the session. And I want to see where you are in terms of your profile strengths and your level of proficiency with LinkedIn. So tell me, where are you on this totem pole?
Yeah, so a lot of people are saying intermediate. Someone was asking if you can just repeat how to check profile strengths.
Sure. So profile strengths can be found on if you're using your phone app, just click your picture, right? Your LinkedIn picture, and then that takes you directly to your profile. And on your profile, there is a dashboard that's located right below your summary section. And on the dashboard to the right-hand side, you will see your profile strength. And it should be one of these 5 things. Okay.
Yeah, so Saddiya, majority of them are saying intermediate or all-star. I have had 1 or 2 that have said they haven't created a LinkedIn profile as of yet, but for majority of the part, it's all-star and intermediate.
Okay, good. So we have a nice little mix. So most people are confident and comfortable using the site. Some people haven't used it. So today I'll talk to you about some of the essential things that you have to have in your profile to really optimize it and to make the best use of it. And especially, you know, after the conversation that you just heard, with an increase in remote work, relationship building is moving online. So everything is going virtual. So there's no better place to do this than on LinkedIn. And this platform is really popular as a search engine that recruiters use to find candidates. So let's just jump into some of these building blocks. So when you start thinking about optimizing your platform, you want to ensure that you are bearing in mind these factors. So you want to have an idea of your audience. So you want to know clearly, who is my profile targeting? Who do I want to see my profile? You want to make sure that you have a headline that showcases kind of who you want to be, or maybe the skills that you are known for, or the person that you are known for. You want to make sure that you have a value-driven summary. So something that shows recruiters or organizations, you know, what your strengths, your accomplishments, your career story has been, right? And you want to make it passionate. You want to show, you know, who you are and help people to kind of bring you into your world. Okay. You want to make sure that you have a photo. So a photo is very important. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. And you want to add sections. So sections are a good way for you to ensure that keywords are listed on your profile. And so when recruiters are, you know, searching for candidates, your profile is popping up towards the top of that search list. Okay. And then your relevant experience. So you want to make sure that you have listed your most recent work experience. And again, accomplishments are important. Talk about the value that you've brought or that you bring to an organization. And then it's good for you to list all your skill sets. Again, keywords are important. What are your audience looking for, right? You want to make sure that your key skills are listed and that you're asking for endorsements, ask for recommendations, and we'll talk about this more as we go on. Okay, so we talked about the most important part of, or the key in setting up your LinkedIn profile and in optimizing it. So you want to make sure that you figure out who it is that you want to be seeing your profile. Who are you interested in engaging with, or who do you want to impress? So think about the industries that you are interested in working in, or organizations that you want to work for. Maybe think about some recruiters that are in the field, like where are some of these jobs that you're looking for? Think about connections with similar work experiences to yours. So have you worked in, in a purchasing role? Have you worked in maybe architectural design? So look at people's profiles, see, who might be aligned with, your experience and your skill sets, and who might be able, to kind of refer you and help you along in your job search process. It's good to follow influencers. Influencers usually, they provide really important and kind of motivational information that helps you on your search as well. You want to connect with alumni. You want to look at maybe some previous coworkers that you've worked with, even if they're not, even if you worked with them overseas in your country of origin. You never know. They might also be in Toronto. They might also be able to help you in your job search. So have a clear idea of who your audience is. Okay. So the next thing that you want to do, you want to have a targeted headline. So, so your headline promotes who you are and the roles that you are best suited for. Okay. So it doesn't have to be a job title, right? Like in my case, my headline showcases my skill sets and the type of value I bring to Humber or to an organization, right? So you can list, if you want, you can list your current role and 2 other job titles, or If you're on the market, you're aggressively looking for work, you want to list at least 3 titles that are aligned with your talent and your experience. And again, entrepreneurs, for those of you who are, who are starting your own businesses, now is the best time. So this is also a way for you to show in your headline how you can add value to maybe your audience, to your clients or prospective clients. What value are you adding? Good. So this is where you can showcase this in your headline. And I've listed some examples of professions of people who are in software development. Maybe you want to showcase the roles that are best suited for you. People who are in engineering or architecture, maybe showcase 3 roles that you think are the best fit for you. Okay, and remember, feel free to write your questions. We're going to get to them in a bit. If there's anything that comes up during the presentation that you wanted to clarify. Okay, so the next step in the process of creating a really, optimized and a strong LinkedIn profile is your summary. So you need to try to create a value-driven summary that tells a story. So you want to tell a little bit of a story. Don't be afraid to be bold. You can win points with employers for your enthusiasm about the job that you want. So you want to showcase in this section what you can do for an employer. So what can you bring, right? Can you maybe design maybe a website using C#.net, etc. So show them what you can do and maybe what you've done in the past and some of your accomplishments. Show passion for your work. So I'm a passionate, website designer, or I'm a passionate Revit designer, or I'm a passionate advertising professional. So show them passion, show them your personality as well. Maybe talk about some hobbies that that you're actively doing, or maybe talk about a fun fact, something that's professional, but it also shows a lighter and a more comfortable side of you that the employer can connect with. And again, highlight your hard skills or your technical skills. So this is where you're showcasing your keywords again, and you want to have maybe 40 words or more, okay? And for, career advisors will tell you different things. Some will say write a story. Some will say write a brief summary. In my experience, I think just based on the title itself, it is a summary. So I would say you keep it nice, concise, and short, but highlight your technical skills in that section. Okay, we're moving through quickly. So the next thing you want to do, as I mentioned before, try to upload a photo. So a photo that is, approachable. You want to smile. You want to create a good first impression, right? So when recruiters are, when you come up on their search list, they want to see someone who they can see would be a good fit, or they can, they'd be comfortable maybe referring to one of their clients. Right? So try to avoid flashy clothing, hats, jewelry, sunglasses. You want to have, make sure your picture the background is like earth tone, nothing too busy, right? And again, photos help you to optimize your platform, and you're likely to get 14 times more views with a photo, okay? All right, so we're powering through. Your work experience is also very important in your on your profile. So you want to showcase either your current experience or your past work experience. You want to highlight the skills that you demonstrated in these roles, especially, again, if you know your audience, you know the jobs that you're interested in, use some of that language from the job descriptions, from the job postings, right, to highlight your experience. Talk about some accomplishments. Maybe you were able to develop a new filing system that minimized time and was a much more efficient. So talk about anything that you've accomplished throughout your career. You want to have at least 2 previous positions there. If you do, for new grads, that is completely fine. You want to just showcase maybe any volunteer opportunities that you've been involved in, or any co-ops or internships. And then you want to summarize your experience in 2 to 3 concise sentences. So nothing too long and extensive, because you do have a resume and that goes into detail as well. And then you want to describe the value that you brought to your team. And with this section here, your work experience, you're 12 times more likely to you'll get some more profile views, so 12 times more than those who don't have a work experience section. Okay. So profile enhancers. Oh, and sorry, another point that I wanted to make with your work experience is that you need to ensure that the dates, titles, and details match the ones on your resume. Okay, so really important point, because if there is a discrepancy, recruiters usually do they do checks, right? They will check your profile. They will make sure that what you're saying on your resume is similar and is the same to what you are saying on your profile. Okay, so be mindful of that. All right, profile enhancers. So these are sections that you can add just to, again, to make your profile much more, I guess, to optimize it much more. And again, it helps you along that continuum from basic to all-star, right? As long as all these boxes are checked, you are going to be in that all-star category and your views are going to jump up and to spike. Okay, so you want to have at least 5 skills, and you ask your connections to endorse you for the skills that you're best at. List any courses that you took for my new graduates. Talk about courses that are, related to the jobs that you are looking for. Ask for recommendations. So ask maybe your old boss, ask your co-workers, ask classmates, ask people who you've worked with closely to write a recommendation, and it makes your profile much more credible. Okay, also highlight any projects that you've created for those who are technically driven, or for architects, designers. Showcase your work, showcase the projects that you have come up with. So getting more profile views can definitely help you get found for the right opportunity. So when someone views your profile, it suggests that they're interested in your professional experience. So this is a good time to reach out to them. Okay, so with these profile enhancers, we talked about asking for recommendations, your projects. Also make sure that you're reaching out, or you're joining groups. So join groups that are in your field. So if you're in the IT support field, join groups, maybe Cisco groups, or any related groups in your field, right? So for me, I'm in career development, and I'm a career strategist. So I'm in groups that focus on supporting clients with resumes, with interviews, and I'm in a lot of HR groups as well. Okay, and follow industries. So follow industries, follow companies that you are interested in working with, and that goes a long way. Okay, so you want to build and leverage your connections. So this is the final piece. So after you've done all those other building blocks, you've put the blocks together, your profile is optimized, you're at that all-star level, you want to also make sure that you're starting to build really strong connections. 50 is the least that allows you to have a complete profile. So you need to have at least 50 connections to be complete. The more connections that you develop, the better chances you have of being seen. And again, you want to personalize your invitations, right? I do have a slide after this that I'm going to show you some templates on how you can personalize those invites. Okay, and I talked about this before. So getting more profile views can help you get found for the right opportunity. Okay, so when you see someone looking at your profile, it might be a good time to reach out to them, right? If you have a look at their profile, see if there's a connection there. If there's maybe somebody that you have in common, right? You can reach out to them, thank them for, I noticed, thank you for viewing my profile. I'd like to connect for us to stay in touch, right? So reach out to them. LinkedIn now has a voice feature. So if you wanted to make your messages much more personalized, you can use that voice. It's a little icon in your message section. And I think it's activated on the app, so not on your desktop. You can use it on the, if I'm correct, you use it on your app. And you can send your connections a voice message, okay? And you also want to update your LinkedIn settings to open to new opportunities. And that again can be found in your profile section. Again, when you click your picture, if you scroll down to your dashboard, there should be an opportunity there for you to open yourself up to new opportunities. So recruiters can know that you are in the market, okay? So reaching out to recruiters. So again, building and leveraging your connection. So if you feel like you're ready now you have an idea of what your goals are, you have an idea of who your audience is, the jobs that you're interested in, if you want to start reaching out to recruiters, some of the steps that you can do this, the first thing is that you can follow the company on LinkedIn. So wherever the recruiter works, follow their company if they have a LinkedIn page, and the recruiter is able to see this. So it shows them that you are interested in the company. You want to try to connect with at least 5 people that work in the company. And again, when the recruiter sees this, they see that you're connected. It might increase your chances of that they'll reach out to you. And then you want to customize your requests. Okay. So, and another point is in that job feature, because you can actually apply for jobs through LinkedIn. So when applying for a job, you might see the name of the hiring manager. So this is another opportunity for you to reach out to them and to let them know, you're interested in the role, and these are the skills that you would bring. This is the value that you would add, and you're hoping to get some feedback on the opportunity. Okay, so keep it concise, keep it well spaced. You don't want any messages that are too long and hard to read. You want it to be clear, simple, concise, especially for that first message. Okay. Oh, sorry. A point I wanted to make before we move into job search. A point I wanted to make is the search function. So an important part of LinkedIn is that search button, right? So using your search, and again, I'm gonna put this in bold. The search function is your friend. I should have written this on my slide. The search function is your friend. Don't forget, the search function is your friend. Okay. So another strategy to connect with people who might be able to help you in your search is through the search button. So insert keywords in the search box. So maybe you're in engineering, or you're in architecture. So select AutoCAD drafter. Maybe you type that in, and then type a comma. Maybe the university that you went to. For me, it's the University of the West Indies. Do comma, and then type Toronto. So what's going to happen now when you click enter? You're going to get a list of people who are AutoCAD drafters in Toronto from your university, right? It's the same thing for any other field. So if you're in supply chain, if you are a buyer, right? So buyer, type in the search box buyer, comma, university that you went to, or you could also put the company that you worked for from your previous country, or if you worked in Canada. So put the company that you worked for, comma, Toronto, and you'll see people who have the same titles as you, who may have worked in the same company as you did, that are in Toronto, and that you can reach out to. So this is a great way for you to really, optimize, your connections. You're going to send them a personalized message or a customized request. You're going to let them know that, I came across your profile. I noticed that we have quite a lot in common. You went to the same university as me. I miss my university so much. Maybe you were in the same year and you were able to connect this way. So show them how you're connected. I came across your profile. I noticed that you're in AutoCAD. I noticed that we were in the same year at this university. I'm currently in Toronto. I'm starting my job search, and I just wondered if you'd be able to give me any tips that might be useful for me to get started. Okay, so you're not asking them for a job, number one. So right now we're trying to build a relationship. So the first thing you want to do is just to establish what you have in common, and the fact that you're new here and you want to, get some help with your search. So that's how you're going to target it. And this is good if you can find connections who have worked, who are actually working in Toronto in the field that you're interested in, and you will see that, right? And again, so this is a template here for how you can customize your requests. I won't go through this. There'll be a recording of these presentations that will be sent to you, and I'll try to see if we can get our slides in to be sent to you so that you can review this again. Okay. So this is how you're going to personalize and customize your requests. Okay, so let's look at some questions. Are you seeing any questions in the box in the Q&A, Julie?
Yes, so our very first question is from Nicole. So her question is, what's the best advice when returning to LinkedIn when you've been inactive for 2 years just due to not job searching and no time to utilize it regularly?
That's a good question, Nicole. Thanks for asking. Okay, good. So LinkedIn, the good thing about LinkedIn is that your profile is still there. It's still active. So what you want to do now, you want to go back to those building blocks. So maybe I can go right back here. So we want to go back to our building blocks. You want to make sure that all these sections are, this checklist is, is completed. You want to make sure that your headline now, especially if you're looking for work, your headline needs to show the roles that you're interested in, or maybe the skills that you bring to organizations. If you're doing your own thing, if you're a startup, you want to make sure that your summary showcases, I've been working in this field for over 2 years and now I'm looking for this. So be very clear in your summary section what it is that you are looking for and maybe what value you can bring to organizations after maybe 2 years in the industry that you were in before. A photo, make sure your photo is up to date, right? So get something nice, crisp, nothing blurry. It should look like you. So when they have those video calls, they're not surprised, and there's no there's no discrepancy. And again, keywords are important. So this is the building blocks are the first step in kind of reactivating your profile. So make sure these are checked, right? Oops, let's go back here. So you want to get your meter all the way up to all-star, and then you want to start reaching out to connections who might add value to your search if you're looking for work, right? So, and again, that search box is your friend. So look for people maybe who are in the role that you're looking for, maybe a certain company that you want to work for. See the people who come up, go about it, reach out to them, be bold. At this time, the least that they can do is not respond, right? So the more active you are, the more you're going to get responses, okay? So you want to kind of leverage the connections now. So you're optimizing your profile, you're getting to that all-star, you're starting to connect with people, you're starting to maybe request maybe an informational interview, or how you can ask them if they're open to a virtual coffee meetup, or an opportunity for you to just really discuss your career path or strategies, especially if you see people in roles that you are targeting or that you're trying to move towards. Okay, so that's an important step. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. So we have another question from Karen. Should my profile look like my resume?
Good question, Karen. So, to be honest, your LinkedIn profile actually goes a step above your resume, because your LinkedIn profile showcases like a robust and a comprehensive view of like who you are, how your career has progressed, right? So how LinkedIn works is that it kind of, you're able to visualize a person's journey or their professional journey. So your resume summarizes your key skills, those keywords, but your LinkedIn profile does a little bit more. So you can add projects, you can add some of those sections that would help to kind of develop your profile. So any courses that you took, right? So resumes for me, my recommendations, I try to go maybe 2 to 3 pages for a resume. So the LinkedIn profile helps you to list everything, right? To optimize those keywords. But again, you want to make sure that your titles, the dates that you've worked, are all the same, right? Because recruiters do fact check or back check. So you want to make sure that there is consistency. Thank you. I hope that answers your question. Any other questions, Julie?
Yeah, so what are the benefits of getting the premium version?
That's a good point. People ask me this all the time. So I actually had premium for about 5 months, I believe, with LinkedIn. So what premium does, it gives you access to things that people without premium don't have. So you're able to connect with or send direct in-mail. So you're able to message people without having to connect with them first. So it gives you 15 in-mail per month. And so instead of that barrier for you to wait for the connection to add you, you're able to reach out directly. What LinkedIn Premium also does is that you have a tool where you are paired with groups, like premium groups that are in your field. And these groups are not shared with the public, right? So you're getting a little more inside information, and you're kind of step above people who don't have premium. Now, premium does offer a free month, but they will charge you as soon as that month, that expiry dates hits, you're being charged, I think it's $34.99 a month. So if you're able to continue, feel free, but please watch your budgets and be wary of that. But it does have value. It just makes it a little bit easier for you to connect with people without having to wait for a response. I hope that helped. And I don't work at LinkedIn, so there's probably a lot more that that they will tell you, but I'm not here to promote that feature. Any questions, Julie, before we continue?
Yeah, this is going to be the last one. So Vijay says, thank you for all the inputs on LinkedIn profile building. Extremely useful. For skilled immigrants who intend to relocate to Canada later this year, early next year, do recruiters look at such profiles with an option to fill open positions, or do they restrict themselves to Canadians only?
That's a good question. So when I worked in recruitment, I did use LinkedIn. I used my applicant tracking system as well, but we are looking for people who are located in Toronto usually, right? So unless it's a role that maybe is in North America, or maybe there's some liaising in other parts of the world, but usually they're starting with Toronto. So they want to see that the location is Toronto, Ontario, right? Or not just Toronto, but you're in the region in Canada, right? Because even if it's not Toronto, Ontario, it could be a remote opportunity as well, but they want to make sure that you are physically here. So what I would suggest is that if you have intentions of, if you're moving to Canada shortly, you can put this in your summary, right? Or you can showcase this, because I'm not too sure if you can add that you're located in Canada if you aren't. I'm not sure if that feature is optimized, but showcase in your summary that you are moving to Toronto in 2 months or whatever the case is, and you're open to opportunities as we speak, right? So put that somewhere in your summary. But that's a really good question, Vijay. Thank you. All right, I hope that helped. So let's continue on, because we have Julie, do we have a time? I just wanted to know what type of time we're working with. Do you have an idea of how many minutes we have?
About 10 more minutes.
Okay, good. All right, so let's move into job search. And Julie, just to clarify, are you seeing my slide with job search advice?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. I'm so happy Julie is here. This is a live event, everyone. It's, you never know what can happen. So I just want to make sure that you're seeing what I can see. Okay, good. So let's move into job search. Now, what I would suggest, again, so LinkedIn is where you're building those relationships and you're hoping to get some referrals who can help you or point you in roles that you're interested in, and maybe to get you some interviews. But also what you want to do when you're looking at your job search is to start by setting goals. So you need to have a goal, have some plans. And again, we talked about the industries, like what industries do you want to work with? What type of organizations? Maybe think about how you're going to strategize your job search, right? Do you want to maybe focus on just connecting with people? Do you want to maybe, spend 2 hours of your day applying for jobs online and then doing that relationship building on LinkedIn and other platforms? So have a clear idea of how you want to move forward with your search. Okay. Another good tip is that you can create a website, right? So while we're here, it's COVID is upon us. We are home. We have a lot of time on our hands for some of us. So now might be a good time to use a free, and I'm going to show you some free website builders. So create a website that showcases maybe some of the projects that you've worked on, that tells employers who you are, right, in your field, whether you're in marketing, whether you're in PR, sales. So show them. It's a little bit of your resume, but you want to expand that. And especially for anybody who is in design or who can show the work that they've done, you can upload some of those projects as well. So this website, you can feature this on your LinkedIn profile under the featured section, which is on your dashboard. Good. I wish I could. I'm sorry I can't show you this live because I'm not too sure how to do that. So, but if you click your photo on LinkedIn, you should be able to go down to a section called featured, and it's right underneath your summary. And this is where you can upload any projects or any media or your website, right? You can put these things in, and you want to showcase your skills. You want to showcase your accomplishment, your talents, any hobbies that you've developed. So make it interactive, make it appealing to your audience. Okay. And another good thing for during this time is that you want to maybe start working on a project. So if you're a software developer, a .NET developer, start maybe thinking about a tool or an app that you could start developing, or maybe something small, maybe a bakery or an e-commerce platform that you want to start maybe developing. So think about projects that you can work on in the meantime and which you can add to your resume or even your LinkedIn, right? And you want to see where you can volunteer, right? So volunteer your time or do some freelance work. Good. And then again, you want to be active. So even though job fairs are not happening in person, there are some virtual events that are happening. I'm going to go to the next slide. So as much as possible, try to attend these networking events, any opportunities where you can speak to people. TechTO is a great platform. Where are we here? Let's go here. So TechTO is, has a bunch of different domains or streams that they target. So they look at people in the hospitality space, people in the tech space, people in marketing. So have a look at their website, look at the events that they're going to be hosting. They're hosting events weekly because they provide an opportunity for networking where you can talk to people live without having to maybe type like what we're doing today. You can see people and there's much more connection, right? Another event coming up is Canada Job Expo. And Julie, if you're able to, if you don't mind posting in the Q&A some of these where they can go to find these events, if you're able to. Okay, so Canada Job Expo is coming up on May 20th. And that again is going to be a virtual job fair, Toronto entrepreneurs. So this is for people who are thinking about starting their own business, people who have their own businesses. If you want to speak with like-minded professionals, this will be a good opportunity for you to hear what some of these business leaders are doing in the face of this adversity. You can talk, there's a networking opportunity, so you'll be able to talk to people live. And again, some of the other networking or event sites that you can view to see what's happening is meetup.com, eventbrite.com, Facebook events, LinkedIn events. There's Startup Here Toronto is also one that you can look at, or Cafe New Canadians. And New Canadians is a media platform that caters to the newcomer group, and they're hosting a bunch of events during this time. So have a look at what they're doing. Sorry, Julie, were you able to post the links? Perfect, thank you. Okay, good. So let's go back to this slide. So really quickly, so I talked about creating a website, and the ones that I'm familiar with are Wix and Weebly. I know Squarespace, there might be a charge, but there is a 14-day trial, I believe. And if you know of any other events or website builders, please put it in the Q&A so we can work as a community to kind of know what's out there, right? So put in the Q&A and Julie will tell us after any other things that you can think of that might be a good way to keep your job search and keep your skills active during this time, okay? And freelance sites, I've put a few here. So Upwork is a very popular one. Fiverr is popular. And we talked about Volunteer Toronto. I'm not sure if we talked about this. Charity Village is a site where you can get paid or unpaid positions. You can look to see what they have available. And Spark Ontario is also another volunteer site. You can find volunteer opportunities here. Okay. All right, so we're almost there. We're almost at the end. So we've talked about some of the tips that you can implement right now as you're in maybe wait and see mode. Another thing that you can start doing to keep your skills active, take some courses. This platform that we're on is being supported by Humber College's New to Canada programs. So again, you probably heard about that in the main event. So we do have bridging programs if you're in the supply chain field, if you're in the software development field, if you are in maybe IT infrastructure. and engineering. So engineering or architecture. So look at our site, see if there are maybe some programs that would interest you. And it's a good way. Right now is a good time to upskill and to get and I think the presenters talked about this before, right? So Coursera is offering free sites, free programs as well, but a bridging program gets you that credential from Humber. So you're able to put this on your resume, you're able to put this on your LinkedIn platforms, and it really validates your experience and your skill set, okay? All right, so we're almost there. So another thing that you can implement as a job search tip is that you can send not just LinkedIn messages, but you can find people's emails. So if there's a company that you see is hiring, if they maybe have 11 positions or 12 positions, or if they just have one position, find out who the hiring manager is, or reach out to the HR professional. So find them on LinkedIn. Again, the search button is your friend. So find the person on LinkedIn, and then you want to see if there is any contact information for them. Or sometimes if you just type the person's name in maybe a Google search, their company information will come up and you might be able to find their information. Okay, so you want to send direct emails to hiring managers or maybe employees in the company that you think could help you on your search. And again, you're not asking for a job, you're asking for advice. You're letting them know, that you are right now you're exploring opportunities, and you're just looking for maybe some help on best practices or next steps, right? To really optimize your search. Another good thing is that you can post your resume on available job boards. So Monster is a big one for people in the tech space. So recruiters are always going into Monster or Indeed. Sometimes they may not have a job posted, but they want to see some of the profiles out there, right? When you post your resume, though, be careful of including your address. For these job boards, I would suggest maybe just your email address, if possible. If you're comfortable sharing your phone number, do that as well. But I wouldn't include address, etc. So Monster, Indeed, maybe LinkedIn would be also a good place to post your resume. So you want to also spend some time doing some interview preparation. So while you job search, while you're there searching, you're activating and you're optimizing profiles, you want to prepare yourself for the next phase, right? So you're sending applications, you're networking with people. When it comes time that you've confirmed a virtual interview or an in-person interview, you want to be ready, right? So focus on look at some behavioral questions that employers might ask, and there are some very frequently asked questions. You can find that on the internet. We talk about that in our bridging programs as well. We prepare students for that interview phase, okay? And we do some comprehensive practice. Okay, so you want to do some interview preparation and you want to be patient. So because we're in a time now, and you heard this from our presenters, we're in a time of uncertainty. It's unprecedented times. We don't know what's happening each day. You just need to really pack in your patience and to just be aware that even if your job search isn't as you're not getting results back right away, that you want to give it some time, right? So that's where you're going to be focusing on other things. Focus on projects. Focus on strengthening your interview skills. Focus on taking some courses. Right? So you want to be as patient as possible. And if you do an interview and you haven't heard back, give the employer some time because things are, again, progressing or evolving daily. So decisions might be changing. So give them some time. And if you do an interview, I would suggest maybe give them 2 to 3 weeks before following up. All right. And I think that's what we have for job search tips. Julie, any questions?
Yeah, so we have a great question. Do you think the level of job postings that you might see at LinkedIn is based on your profile status?
Oh, sorry, can you just say the question again so I clearly understand?
Yeah, sorry, give me 1 second. So do you think the level of job postings that you might see on LinkedIn is based on your profile status?
Okay, yes, I think I get it. So that's a good question actually. So LinkedIn will allow you, especially if you are open to new opportunities, they're going to ask you what type of roles are you interested in, right? So this is very important that you put specific roles and specific job titles that you want to be considered for, right? So what they'll do, they'll use this list to kind of filter out the messages, and you have to if I believe you have to click, you have to open, well, maybe somebody can help me. So you need to open on your job tab that you want them to send you alerts. You have to activate your alerts so that you're getting notified of jobs that you are interested in. And again, if you you're open to new opportunities, they will target those postings to your list, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so our last question is going to be, I would like to ask you about how to maintain my relationship with my connections on LinkedIn. Right now, it's hard to have a coffee chat with people. So what are some tips on maintaining the relationship?
That's a good point. So, what people sometimes suggest is, a way to maintain some of those relationships is to look, maybe sometimes if you're connected to people who post quite a bit, if they're very engaged on their platforms, and I should have mentioned this before. So you want to kind of comment on your connections posts, right? So you want to comment meaningfully, not just, great article or really interesting piece. You want to say something that adds value. It shows that you've read whatever they've posted, right? Actually, that's a good point too. So for those connections that maybe have articles in that section, open them, read through them, and comment, right? Also, another thing that you want to do is you want to stay active. You want to yourself post, maybe post something that is valuable to your industry. Maybe post something that you saw in a company's on their profile, that you can share it and you can kind of showcase, why you're posting it. So I came across this and tag the company. I came across this from Akon's page, and this development is really showcasing whatever it is, right? So highlight something that you're noticing or that you've really been impressed by with the post, and why you're sharing it. I thought I would share this because, hashtag Akon or at Akon. So make sure you're tagging the employer or tag your connections, right? Especially if they're posting stuff, you can share their stuff and tag them. So at Saddiya Rose, mentioned this, and I thought this was so meaningful to yada yada yada. Good. So that could be a way where even if you're not doing a virtual chat, they can see that you're still there, you're still around, you're still active, right? You're viewing their content, you're interested in their content. If you see any anniversaries on their sites or if any anniversaries come up that you were notified about, let your connections know, congrats on your anniversary, or your work anniversary, or birthdays, etc. Okay? Hopefully that helps. But you want to stay as active as possible. If you're doing courses on LinkedIn, share the course that you just took. In the comments section, you want to tag the instructor and let them know the value that this course added to your life, right? Or maybe some of the learning, maybe 2 or 3 points that you learned from the course that you took. Okay? Any final thoughts, questions, Julie? I think you might be on mute.
Yeah, that's all.
That's all. Okay, good. I think this was a good session. I can't hear anything except Julie's voice from my end, but I do hope this was meaningful for you. I'm hoping, and I want to wish you well in your job search. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn, Saddiya Rose, or if you want to send me an email, saddiya.rose@humber.ca for any further questions. And again, I think this recording will be sent to your emails after. Okay, so all the best. We're going to end it here. Any final words, Julie?
No, that's all. Thank you.
All right. Take care, everyone, and goodbye.